the collection of tapestries at Palazzo Lascaris certainly stands as one of the items of greatest value. On the whole, 6 pieces of art are preserved here, and 3 of these, dating from the late 16th century, are extraordinarily rare and of international interest. These 3 marvellous tapestries from the 1500s come from the castle of Mandria at the gates of Turin. Indeed, they are works of particular prestige and beauty. 2 of these are part of the rare Renowned series on the 7 wonders of the ancient world, here, respectively, depicting the construction of the mausoleum by Artemisia and the construction of the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus by King Croesus. The first tapestry catches Queen Artemisia commissioning a monumental tomb at Halicarnassus for her husband Mausolus, hence the name mausoleum, truly one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The queen mixed her husband's ashes in a beverage and drank the potion, thus herself becoming her spouse's living tomb. On the left side, we see Artemisia holding the goblet she is about to drink. On the right stands the architect, with axe in his belt, receiving his orders. The background is filled with skilled workers sculpting the columns, capitals and decorative elements. The pyramid-shaped monument stands out, adorned with statues and columns. The second tapestry depicts Croesus, king of Lydia, who had the famous temple to the goddess Artemis built at Ephesus. The goddess is depicted in the temple's tympanum. Croesus, with crown and scepter, is seen as he reviews the drawings presented by the architect Charisphron and his son Metagenes, he too an architect. In the foreground, on the right, 3 people comment on the works. In the background, the scene is abuzz with worker activity. The 2 tapestries were clearly conceived for particularly refined surroundings where rare historic representations would be appreciated. The scenes are clearly linked to engravings of the works by some Flemish artists in the mid-1500s, and thus, together with the style reflecting the craftsmanship of Brussels, they can be dated to between 1570 and 1600 at the latest. Although the trim is missing from these 2 tapestries in Palazzo Lascaris, they are in good condition and the colours are still quite bright. They are extremely rare and precious. Today, we know of only 4 other similar tapestries, 2 in other museums and 2 in private collections. The third large tapestry from the 1500s, owned by the regional council, the best preserved of all with its trim intact, today stands at the great staircase of Palazzo Lascaris and depicts a biblical episode that is rarely presented: the Jewish people bestowing gifts on Judith. The scene from the Book of Judith tells how, after slaying Holofernes, the Jewish people covered the tapestry with gifts, the spoils from the enemy's camp. In the tapestry, Judith, young, strong and beautiful, stands at the center of the scene. A woman kneeling before her opens a chest of golden plates, Holofernes' dinnerware. All the figures in the tapestry are facing toward Judith, each bearing different gifts: lamps, cloth, coffers, baskets of fruit, heavy bags being loaded onto mules and camels. In the distance, at Judith's back, a camel is laden with Holofernes' tent. Standing in the center, Judith gestures with her right hand, indicating that the gifts are to be loaded onto her mule. In terms of style, the tapestry appears to be a work from Brussels and can be dated to around 1570 to 75. This work, perhaps part of some long-lost series on the stories of Judith, has come down to us as a single specimen of great artistic and historic interest. It is undoubtedly an extraordinarily rare work, perhaps even one of a kind. Palazzo Lascaris also has a valuable Flemish tapestry from the late 1600s depicting Apollo consoling Cyparissus after the slaying of the sacred stag. This is an episode from Ovid's Metamorphosis. Cyparissus, a young hunter dearly beloved by Apollo, accidentally slays a stag sacred to the nymphs and is inconsolable. The gods take pity on him and turn him into a tree which takes his name, the cypress, and Apollo decrees it the sacred tree of mourning. In the tapestry, Apollo can be recognized by the lyre at his feet, while the young Cyparissus bites his hands in despair. At their backs, in a lush landscape on the ground, we can see the wounded stag in the throes of death. The tapestry is adorned by a sumptuous trim in the Flemish style with birds, fruit, flowers and heavy branches of blue morning glory. To complete the series of tapestries at Palazzo Lascaris are two works based on paintings by David Teniers and produced by master tapestry weaver Frans van der Bocht from Brussels, an artist who was active between the 17th and 18th centuries. They bear his signature and the mark of Brussels. The first shows a hunting expedition as it rests at a tavern with a star in its insignia. The other shows rural festivities, both in the open and under an arbour outside another tavern with a moon on its signboard. The Van der Bocht family atelier prepared at least 12 works based on subjects painted by Teniers, items that were well received by many European collectors. The care with which the various scenes are depicted is of great interest, with so many minor details, as was typical of the times. 6 tapestries, 6 great works of art, valuable for their quality and rarity. A treasure adorning Palazzo Lascaris and the seat of the Regional Council of Piedmont.